Welcome back to another Millennial In-Depth video. If you are new here, hit that subscription button below. Turn on the notification bell so you get that every single time I upload a video. Today we're going to be talking about how much money does it actually cost to buy a house. And I know a lot of people are like, $7 million. And you wouldn't be wrong. You wouldn't be wrong. Yeah, so owning a home is kind of crazy. As you know, I purchased my first home in 2019. So 5-year homeowner on the screen. And I always say that a lot of it had to do with sheer dumb timing and a little bit of luck, right? So we had definitely some planning and definitely some research, but a lot of luck and a lot of things to do with timing. I have spent my entire time as a homeowner really trying to make it as understandable as possible for people who want to go through the process, and also really help sink people, or root people, I should say, in reality of what it means to be a homeowner, both financially and emotionally, because it's a mind. I'm not going to hold you, but I do not, at this juncture, it took 5 years, do not regret making the purchase, because like the job market, the housing market is in shambles. It is in shambles. Unbelievably ridiculous right now. I really say that a lot of this has to do with timing, because as an educator, when I purchased my home, I was making about $90,000 a year. That was my 9th or 10th year in the classroom. I can't remember, or 8th, I don't remember. And I purchased the home by myself, solo, just my income. And at that time, I didn't find it to be the most affordable thing in the world, of absolutely not. But I would not have been able to, whether it was on that salary or even on my tech salary just a few years later, I would not have been able to purchase this home on my own. I wouldn't have been able to afford this home on my own. And I also wouldn't be able to afford to live in this area, in this neighborhood. And so that is really just timing. That doesn't mean that I was more prepared or did more research or just knew some insider tip or things like that. It was just timing. And so a lot of people will ask, well, when is the right time to buy, in this current market? And the answer is, I don't know, because the market is doing all types of crazy things. And do I think it's going to burst and become a little more affordable? I sure hope so. And do I think that rates will come down? They have been steadily coming down very slowly, but they have been coming down. Will I think they'll ever be as low as they were at the start of the pandemic? Couldn't tell you. And that's why a lot of this is based off of timing, right? So timing. But what this video is going to be about today is really just how much does it cost to purchase the home, not how much it costs to be a homeowner, right? With ongoing costs, just how much you really want to prepare financially in order to be able to purchase a home. And this video, hopefully in 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, when the market is a lot more affordable and just makes more sense, will still hold true and be helpful. If you see this in the year 2030, will still help you with the process in purchasing your first home. So the first thing I want to clarify is I'm also not talking about real estate investments. I'm not talking about investment properties and real estate portfolios. I'm talking about you're purchasing your first home, or you're purchasing a home that you want to live in, right? So a residential home. So we're going to be clear on that. And so typically, the rule of thumb is you want to save 25% of the purchasing price. And that is going to include a couple of things, and I'm going to talk about why, obviously. So 25% is that starting mark for you, right? So if you are purchasing a home for $200,000 or you're purchasing a home for $300,000, your goal should be to save 25% of that number. Now, that is going to vary based off where you live. It's going to vary based off the type of property you are purchasing, of course, but you're going to need a down payment. Depending on the type of mortgage you get, that is going to be either 3% or 20% or somewhere in the middle. So automatically, you're going to need to save a down payment. depending on the type of loan you're getting, is going to eat out of that 25% that you have saved to purchase this home. On top of the down payment, which is what always people talk about, like the main thing, which is a huge thing, on top of your down payment, you're going to need closing costs. Now, the rule of thumb for closing costs is to save about 3 to 5% of the loan. So that is going to be different than saving 25% of the purchasing price, because once you put the down payment, you're no longer going to need the entire amount, right? So if it's $200,000 and you put down $50,000 as a down payment, you now are going to have a $150,000 loan, $150,000 mortgage. And so your closing costs are going to be about 3 to 5% of that $150,000. I have leaned out of the sun's way. It is shifting. We are preparing for a sunset soon, so we're going to move rather quickly. And now there are a couple of different things that are a part of your closing costs. And I know that some, not all, are negotiable, or the bank will pretty much be like, okay, you don't have to pay that. Doesn't happen often, doesn't happen as often as we'd like. But here are a couple of things that you want to know when it comes to what your closing costs are going towards. First thing that shocked me, and I don't know why, but it shocked me, was you have to pay application fees. And I know there's going to be some smart ass that comes in like, you didn't do enough research. How could you not know you have to pay application fees? Because I didn't. And now I know, and now I'm helping other people know. So no need to comment, you little troll. So you're going to be paying application fees. You are also going to be paying two major costs that I cannot stress enough absolutely are going to be towards your benefit. The first is inspection. If you've been here long enough, you know how stupid I was in thinking that the appraisal was also the inspection. It's not. Typically, an appraisal is going to be done for the bank's benefit to see how much the home is worth, and the inspection is going to be towards your benefit to make sure that there are no leaks or infrastructure issues. And if there is, you can either pull your offer, right? You can say you know what, this is just too much. I don't want to purchase this home. Or you can negotiate your offer. So this means you can offer less, or the person selling their home is going to have to make specific renovations before you agree to purchase the home. And that is why a home inspection is so important, and typically will run you about $300 to $500. You will also have to pay for origination and underwriting fees if you are purchasing a home that is not a new build, meaning someone else has lived in it before you. They are also going to do a title search to make sure that there are no liens or that the home is not in foreclosure. This, again, benefit to you for sure, but the bank is doing their due diligence and they're making you pay for it. You will also be paying a transfer tax, which is basically just the cost of the home going from the seller's ownership into your ownership. Again, some of these are negotiable, not always. In my closing, I also had to pay my lawyer. You are absolutely going to need a real estate lawyer. I do not recommend trying to do this on your own, especially if you've never done it before. You will need someone to look over the documents to make sure that all of your T's are crossed, your I's are dotted. Did I say that in the right order? Dot your I's, cross your T's. So make sure all those things are taken care of from a legal standpoint, because you are making a huge purchase and you don't want to leave anything up to chance or make a big error when it comes to such a large amount of money. Now, on top of closing costs, on top of down payments and all of those things that are a part of the closing costs, you are also going to need to have reserves. Not all banks are going to have the same specifications when it comes to reserves, but they're going to need to know, or need to see, might I add, that you have money left over after the down payment and after closing costs. Some banks usually like to see about 2 months worth of the mortgage payments in your account. Some banks will require more, depending on, again, on the type of loan and how much money you have put down. So please do not wipe out your account trying to purchase a home, because the bank will hit you up full stop and tell you, no, that's not happening, right? So this is what we call reserves. Make sure you have at least 2 months worth of your mortgage payments in an account, so that when the bank asks, you could just pull it up and show it to them. I also highly recommend, this is a personal just suggestion, to have your emergency savings account split, to have an emergency savings for your emergencies, and to also have a home emergency savings account. I like to have 3 to 6 months worth of expenses in my emergency savings account. And I also like to have 3 to 6 months worth of expenses for my home, right? Because we have 3 to 6 months in a regular emergency savings account, and then your roof collapses and it takes the entire emergency savings, because home repair is pricey, very, very pricey. So you do not want to end up being house poor, where you do not have enough in reserves or in savings in case something happens. And the last piece when it comes to saving money for purchasing a home, you also want to save for moving. I moved out of my parents' house, so I pretty much had to move all of my things. I did a lot of downsizing and a lot of losing. I lost a lot of things. I lost a lot of wigs when I moved. I don't know what happened to them. But you will need to save money for moving. If you are moving out of your parents' home or out of a place where you didn't have a lot of the just basic things in your home, you're also going to want to have to save for furniture. And let me tell you from experience, and this is from 5 years ago experience, furniture is expensive, and I only imagine has gotten more expensive since I have purchased my last major, bed frame and things like that. Pricey. So you want to not only just research, look around, look into things you might be interested in, things you might need. Make sure you put aside some money to fill your home with things, at least chairs. Rugs might be the last thing you purchase, but you might need at least a couch, at least a chair, a bed frame for sure. I know the last things I purchased were things to use in my kitchen, because I simply forgot that you needed a spatula to make pancakes. So that first weekend in my home by myself, I was famished quite a bit. I went home, visited, picked up some food, some Tupperware. So there's that. And that's pretty much the overall, pretty much nothing. That is the cost of home ownership today, without specifics, knowing that homes cost $8 million. I think the average home in New York City right now, or New York in general, is $800,000. How's that the average? 800,000? That means there's ones that are let's not even go over that math. But yes, I'm so thankful for you watching. I hope I haven't scared you off, which is not my intention, and I will catch you in the next one.